we joined Brendan Hickey, who's the Senior Product Manager of the Cloud Platforms Group at Autodesk, for an intimate presentation of the next evolution of A360 Team. Now, just before we get into it, this was on board the Las Vegas High Roller Ferris wheel, so anything can happen, and it did. But hopefully you'll still be able to take away some useful information. I also asked after the presentation when A360 Team would be released worldwide, and the good news is that it should be available within the next few weeks.
Okay, so what's A360 all about? So what A360 does is, if you have a project such as you're building a building, we put the project at the center, and then A360 connects all the people, the data, and the activities all in one location. So this is captured in a simple, easy to access location. Now, it's no good just capturing all that data in one location if it's not simple for folks to access. So that's why we create very simple sharing capability within A360. We have this fantastic viewer that actually can view over 100 different file formats right now, and that number is growing. It's a viewer that's just in your browser. You don't have to install anything. Once data is in A360, it becomes viewable once it's compatible by anybody on any device, so long as they've got a modern browser. And then we have very powerful search. These days the amount of data that's generated in any single project is just growing exponentially every year, and it's often hard, even when you know where the data is, to find exactly that piece that you're looking for. So the search capability that we're creating now allows you to find exactly that piece of data that may be hidden away in some file somewhere. If you saw what Carol presented this morning at the keynote, you'll see we're doing some really awesome things in search. And over time you're going to see excuse me, that capability start to light up within A360. On top of that, teams are becoming more and more global. Everybody expects to have access to all their data, no matter where they are, what time it is, or even what device they're on. Very few people just have one computer anymore. People tend to have 3 or 4 computers, plus an iPad, plus their mobile, and they need access to all their data across all these devices. And this is what A360 allows. But that's enough of that stuff. Let's give you a little bit of a look at what's behind the scenes, or what we're doing in the Cloud Platforms Group. So often people, when they think about what Autodesk might be doing behind the scenes, they kind of figure, yeah, A360, there's probably about 50 servers running there. When I log in, I'm on a single server, and then I log out. The reality is we actually have tens of thousands of servers running in our data centers around the world, globally. And that's what allows us to kind of create this great experience. These servers support things like, the simple upload, download, the login, the translation of your data so it can be easily viewed on any device, and then also the extraction that we have to do for search. So right now we have to support millions of logins every single month. And there's certain times in the day where about 7 a.m., 6 a.m. in the morning where we get these massive spikes of logins, and we have to have scalable architecture in order that we can support this. Every second, and this is on average, we have 15 files uploaded. Generally, we can often find a lot more than this, and we have to have the capability that your files can be uploaded quickly and viewable as fast as we can make them. There's over 1 billion events happen per week right now. Actually, well over 1 billion, and that number is growing quite quickly. So you can imagine the scale of what we're trying to do. And this is actually a global map of where people are logging in from around the world. So this is actually real data of who's using A360 right now. You can see pretty much we've got global coverage. I think Greenland, we probably need to do a bit of work on this. Maybe South America there.
Alaska.
Well, Alaska's covered by the States. We got a nice big red dot there. But we're pretty well covered globally. Look at their models.
It's a tour they just pushed out.
So all that capability I talked about is behind this UI that we have today. Now, we've got a lot of great feedback from customers on it. People really like it. Where folks were using these network shares, or they're in something like a Dropbox or an online share location, it was just a files and folders type interface. It was often really hard to interact with your data and see what activities were happening around it. And a lot of the comments were happening in emails or instant messenger. So with this new UI, you can actually capture all that data in one place. But even though we're getting great feedback on the UI that we have today, we are actually spinning up a project right now called Project Galileo, where we're working on completely revamping the UI. Like I said, this is not something you would have heard anywhere else. This is pretty much exclusively for you guys. But we want to give you a very, very early look at what this UI looks like right now. So this is Project Galileo. So this is A360 redefined. What you're seeing here is this is the all project screen. You see all your projects here and your navigation on the left. It's a very clean, simple, and responsive design. As you scale up and down on different devices, the web page actually responds to the needs of that particular device, so you can get to your applications quite quickly. You'll see it's very uncluttered. We try to just make the what you need available on each screen and give you the context of the data where it makes sense. So not try to make everything available everywhere, but just say, hey, when I'm on this screen, I just need to access my projects. I don't really need a lot more data there. So that's why we can make this very simple. As we can see on the left here, then we have the high-level data again, or the high-level navigation. We have hubs. If you're familiar with hubs, a very simple hub switcher. So if I'm working with multiple companies who all have A360, I need to switch from one hub or one company to another company. It's very simply done here. Projects, people, and the A360 drive. For those of you that are familiar with the drive that you get with AutoCAD or Inventor, that's where you're going to access that data. So right there on the front page. Just to go into a sample project, so this is a project I call Model Car. Again, really simple interface. It's all completely touch friendly. You get the information that you need right here. Here are the items that have been recently worked on. Here are the members that are in this particular project. We've brought up this links and resources capability that you can not only link to places outside A360, but you can also interlink between projects that are in A360 as well. And then some information on the project itself and when the last activity was. This is now the data view, so thumbnail driven, looks great on iPad, on mobile devices. For folks who prefer a list view, works exactly like Windows Explorer, Mac Finder. You have your simple copy, move, delete, share controls right there on the top. It's very simple move through the project itself. You can see at the top, I was just in the overview, I just moved to the data section. But if you want to get to people or discussions within the projects, that navigation is always right there across the top. It's pretty simple for people to pick up this interface and just navigate around it very quickly without having to have any training.
Can you still sort and filter through there? It looks like there's kind of an absence of that.
Yes, you can. So we have, it's not in the screen, you're correct, but we do have sorting and filtering. Oh, here. So you see across the top, you have sort by name, owner, type, size, and I should have it. Yeah, so the filtering is again on the top headers here. So you just click on those. Same as like Windows File Explorer or Finder or whatever it might be. So very, very simple to do. Easy select all. You know, you can download multiple things at once. Yeah. So this is the viewer. So one big change that we made with Galileo is really putting the data at the center of the screen and putting all the context off to the side. So you see on the right here, I have all the comments and all the versions right next to the viewer in one single screen. So you can see here, I know what version I'm on. I have a comment in that maybe we should paint the bridge green. But as people comment, it kind of looks like a Twitter feed over here on the right with everybody's comments. So, you know, users are pretty used to it. They can figure this out pretty quickly. But as versions change, you know exactly which version a comment was made on because we include that in this feed. And what we're doing then is we're creating different pivots on this data. So you can imagine in the future, you probably heard we're working on markup and measurement right now, but markup will become a different lens on top of this data, and you'll see the context appear over here on the right. So as you have a markup list, that will appear on the same screen, but we'll still keep the data right here in the center. Sharing, so this piece of capability we've actually taken from the Galileo designs. It's actually in the existing A360 today. But single button press, you get to share any file that's in A360. You get a simple link. You can put it into an email or put it on your website or whatever makes sense. We have some pretty cool privacy options. So the first one is the downloading of the source file is off by default. So when you share something, they're just going to get access to the viewer, and they don't get to download that source file unless you switch this option on. We also have a password option. So even if folks happen to get the link, but you haven't given them the password, they won't be able to access the data. And the nice thing about this particular UI is you can turn that share off at any time. So you can send out the link, maybe it's out there for 2 weeks, and then you decide, okay, I want to shut that off, I have a new version. You can just come here, single click, turn it off.
Did you remove the file size limit?
We are working on that right now, but yes, that is something that's going to disappear. It's like 2 gig right now that we have for the limit, but watch this space, and I can't give you an exact time, but I can tell you we do have a solution that's going to be available for that pretty soon.
That's good.
So you notice there we have links and resources. So sometimes what happens is even within a big project, you might want to split this up, but then you don't want to have everybody have a separate link, or try to figure out, okay, how do I navigate to these 15 projects that are related. So you can use this links and resources to just show people that, hey, these other projects exist. It doesn't mean you have access to it though. You can click on that link and maybe you have access to it or maybe you don't. It's a nice way to just kind of organize your data. So just to spin forward a bit, search. So search, again, the screen, very simple. When you search for something like engine, we find not only things that have engine in the file name, but if engine is somewhere within that design, we're going to expose it here on the search screen. Very simple filtering, works as well on iPad. You can just click these and you can see who was created by, what file type, which project it was in. Great search capability, super fast. So just to move along quickly, because I think we're going to be getting out soon and I need to take this thing apart. So this is a new feature we're working on right now. So imagine within A360 you've got an Excel sheet called Project Cost Estimate.xls, and you want to edit this thing. Today you often have to download it, open it, edit it, re-upload it back. Hopefully you've had a constant connection the whole time. Hopefully other people aren't overwriting you because you went home for the day and then you came back the next day. You might notice a new button that we have down here called Edit. What's going to happen, and actually we have this working in our labs today, you click that button, it opens up straight away in Excel on your desktop. All you have to do was hit that Edit button. When you hit save, it saves that copy directly back up. You don't need to do anything else. It's as simple as one button press to get that back. Even if you just close the application, so long as you hit the normal save as the application closes, we'll sync that right back up and we capture every version and record every version within the comments so you can see who's been editing what exactly. So I just want to say thank you to everyone.
Well, thank you for
seriously, thank you guys. It's coming into A360, giving us the feedback. Please do come onto the forums, by the way. Let us know as you're using the application what's working for you, what's not. Feel free to contact me at any time. I've got a bunch of cards here. We'd love to know what you think and love to know what we can do better, or and also love to know what you like about the application too.
Right.
Thank you everyone. Okay, cheers.